Hey friends, this is Karen from Blue Rooster Farm, and today I'm making some Chinese coleslaw. I was just getting ready for dinner and I thought I'd go ahead and put the camera on and show you how I make this quick side dish. First of all, you can use a prepared package of coleslaw, or you can take a head of cabbage and use whatever amount you need. Here I'm going to use half of a cabbage, and I'm shredding it fairly thin. You could do this in a food processor, any kind of specialty tool, but I'm just slicing it with a knife so I don't have to get anything else dirty. It goes by really quick. You could also have chopped coleslaw, whatever you like. So I'm getting all of this sliced nice and thin, and I've got my big bowl over there that I mix in, and I've got my little bucket over there that I put scraps in as I am cooking, and going through the cut coleslaw and finding some big pieces to re-slice, and just making sure that it's small enough pieces to eat comfortably. Again, you can do as much or as little of this as you want. This right here should last us through the week as a side with dinner or lunch, and it'll stay nice and fresh for at least a week. So I rinsed it off. I've got it in a colander and it's in that bowl. Then I'm going to take a carrot and I'm going to add some carrots. Again, you could shred this carrot. You could put it through your food processor. I am just going to cut long, thin sticks and throw them in there. You can make circles, whatever you like. So getting that all cleaned up. And this coleslaw even gets better in a day or so, letting all the flavors blend together. But we're going to be eating it this evening and within an hour or so of me making it. So I'm just carefully cutting this carrot and making the chunks small enough so that they will be about the same size as some of that cabbage in the bowl. And I'm changing my knife because that one was not quite as sharp as I liked it. This one's much sharper. And you can add as much or as little carrots. If you don't like carrots, you certainly don't have to add them. You can add purple cabbage to make it look pretty. You can slice up radishes. Any of those things can be added, whatever you like in your coleslaw. This one I'm doing the carrots. So I get everything back in the bowl. And the Chinese coleslaw actually calls for green onions, and I have one green onion, but that was all that I had in my refrigerator, but that's okay. We can use regular onions too, but it is, I think, better with the green onions, and if you do use green onions, you'll need several of them, and depending on how much coleslaw you have will depend on how many green onions you'll need. So here I am slicing up or cutting up a sweet onion. Onions are one thing that we ran out of pretty early this year from our garden harvest, and so this year we have planted more onions, and I would have gotten some green onions out of the garden, but they were still pretty small. But here in a couple weeks I will be able to go out there and harvest my green onions. We plant them quite close together and then just thin them naturally as we need them. And then by the time they're big onions, they have plenty of room to spread out. But we really do enjoy green onions. Not so much for just eating fresh, but for chopping up and adding to things. And lots of Mexican food and salads. So I'm chopping that pretty fine just to get it to blend in nicely with the coleslaw. So we've got coleslaw, onions, and carrots in there. The next thing I am going to do is take some sweet pepper, and here are some frozen ones that came out of our freezer from last year. And these are just sweet bell peppers, and they're still frozen. I'm just breaking off what I want. And you don't have to use peppers, but we think they taste really good in this salad. So I'm just going to chop them up finely and add them with the rest of the ingredients. And remember, I have the coleslaw and everything straining in that colander that's sitting in that bowl, because you want to have your moisture out of your salad, because when you add your dressing, you don't want it to be diluted. So giving it a nice rough chop there so it's pretty even pieces. And then throwing those in. Even though they're frozen right now, they will be thawed in just a few minutes and will be fine in there. We use a lot of peppers like this. I also can peppers too, but we prefer the frozen. So I'll clean up a little bit there, and now we'll make the dressing. The dressing's really easy. You'll need a package of ramen noodles, and I'm using a chicken flavor, and that's what I normally use, but really any flavor that you have would be fine. I think chicken and oriental are my favorite for this salad, but you can use whatever you like. So we take that little packet of seasoning mix and we put that in our measuring cup. Set the noodles aside for just a minute. We add a couple of teaspoons of sugar, and then pepper, whatever you like as far as pepper. I added quite a bit since we like the pepper. Then we're going to take some vegetable oil, but you can use any kind of oil you want. And we're going to pour that into our measuring cup. And I believe in this recipe, I am going with I think I went with 2/3 cup of oil and 1/3 cup of vinegar. So a 1-to-3 ratio. That was some soy sauce, just added about a tablespoon. Here's some apple cider vinegar. Again, 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar to 2/3 cup of oil. Now you can use really any kind of vinegar you like. I really like the wine vinegars in this. They taste really good. I've done it in with balsamic vinegar. It does make the salad more brown, but it is delicious that way too. You could use white vinegar, but any kind. This one I'm using apple cider vinegar. Then I'm giving that a good whisk to get it all incorporated and blended up. Now I'm going to take the bowl, and there's a little water at the bottom there. I'm going to pour that water out. Get that out of there. Then I'm going to pour the veggies all in that big mixing bowl. And remember, I like to use big mixing bowls and then mix everything in there and then put it in a smaller bowl to put in the refrigerator. So I'll just toss that around. Get all those things on the bottom up on top. And we'll be mixing it more here in a minute too, so it doesn't have to be perfect at this point. Then I take that ramen noodle pack, or that square, and I just break those up and crumble them into the salad. Now if you have a bigger bowl of coleslaw, like if you used a whole head of cabbage, you probably would want to double what I'm doing and use 2 packages and double the amount of dressing. Just breaking those up. Now when you eat it the first time, if you've only let it set for an hour or so, those will be nice and crunchy. As they set, they'll become more like a noodle in there and have lots of flavor. So they are really good in this coleslaw. And if you don't want to have that carb in there, you certainly don't have to. But that's really what makes this a Chinese coleslaw, those ramen noodles. And then I have some slivered almonds. I think that was probably a 1/2 cup. And then I'm going to take my dressing and I am going to give it a final whisk. And then I'm going to pour it all over this coleslaw. And then I'll give it a really good stir or toss. So at this point, it is all finished. I just turn that coleslaw around because normally the dressing will fall to the bottom, and just kind of give it a coating all over. And before I serve, I'll give it another toss. And there's the bowl that I'm going to put this in. This bowl has a lid, so it's much easier to store in the refrigerator. Getting it all in there. That looks so nice and fresh. You can use sunflower seeds too. Those are really good in this. So those are another option. Get every last bit in there. And again, this can last in your refrigerator for probably a week and still be good. It might need a good toss here and there. It doesn't look as appealing and fresh like this right here with all the green at the end of a week, but it is really still delicious, if not even better. And there it is on a plate. You can see the ramen noodles, the almonds, all the vegetables, and this is just a terrific salad. I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you like what you're seeing, please think about subscribing, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching.